Hi, welcome to Unschooling Every Family, Embracing Neurodivergent and Disabled Learners. We're really glad to have you. This is our video series for our guidelines and our basics, which are multiple topics that are very important to our group. And we've had members ask for audio resources, so we're providing those here. You're probably watching this video because you just joined and you're looking at our guidelines. We have a guide called Guide 1, Group Basics, and I've had some requests to make videos instead of having to read because some busy parents and parents with littles and learning disabled people have a better time with audio. So if you're watching this on YouTube, you should be able to use the little gear switch and make this faster if you need it to go faster. So that's a little tip. Okay, our group is a support format. That means that the person who's posting, sometimes called the original poster or the OP, is asking for support. And that could be in terms of advice, or it could be just to celebrate a win. And then the commenters are giving that support. And we ask the commenters to give support that's on topic for the group. The group topics are broadly unschooling. We are a 100% unschooling group. If you don't know what unschooling is, I suggest you hang around for a couple of weeks before commenting and read the guides or listen to the rest of this video series and find out exactly what unschooling is and how our group defines it, as well as neurodiversity acceptance, which is very key in our group, and connection parenting, which is also known as peaceful parenting, non-coercive parenting, reflective parenting, respectful parenting. There's a lot of different names, but it's all the same. And that's generally the overview of what's on topic in our group. Because our group is a support format, we have very high expectations of our commenters. So if you make a comment that's off topic, we tend not to call you out in the thread. We will contact you privately and let you know what is off topic about your comment. This is not a judgment of anyone. We trust you as a parent to do what is right for your family. And it may be unschooling. It may be a different definition of unschooling than our group has. It may be eclectic homeschooling. We respect you as a parent and your choices. However, our group has a specific narrow focus, and we've been around for 10 years and we've learned a lot about how to keep the group on topic and operating well. So if we do contact you, I hope you can trust us that we have your best interest in mind, and we are not judging you. So you can watch along with me, or you can just listen. I'm going to try to make this work for audio only. But if you're watching, I'm going to guides to group basics. We organize the group basics into an hour of reading, but hopefully I'll be able to make these videos only an hour. I have a feeling they're going to be a little longer, but okay, all of our documents are on Google Docs because Facebook doesn't support files anymore. Okay, so when I click on one of those, it brings brings up Google Docs in my browser. And if you ever have any trouble with anything, just private message me. I'm Delia T, a blue circle in my profile. Okay, so these are the group guidelines. We have short ones if you want to read the short ones, and the long ones will explain in detail why we have these guidelines. We've been around 10 years and we've had a lot of discussions in the admin group. So there are very good reasons for all of these. Okay, the first one is we are a 100% unschooling group. We also are a connection parenting group, which is non-coercive parenting. It's also called respectful, peaceful parenting, lots of other names. And neurodiversity acceptance, unlearning the patriarchy and ableism. And we have our website, which is www.unschoolingeveryfamily.com. So in order to understand what unschooling, non-coercive parenting, and neurodiversity acceptance are, we have guides for each one of those. So that will have to be another series. Okay. So the second guideline is our philosophy is not a judgment of anyone. We can suggest other groups. We trust you as a parent to do what's right for your children. It may not be unschooling. So, and you can hang around. That's okay. We're fine as long as you stay on topic. And if you don't stay on topic, we will privately message you and you're not in trouble. So try to keep an open mind. We ask for rewording of almost half of all posts to keep them on topic and for many other reasons. So if you are contacted to reword a post, you're not the only one. We just find that doing this makes the group run much more smoothly and you get the support that you need when it's your turn to post. Okay, 3, any questions? Contact an admin at any time. 4, we have a Black, Indigenous, person of color sibling group. The link is in the guidelines, or you can message me if you need the link. 5, we want you to read, or hopefully I'll do a video series of the group basics, which is unschooling, connection parenting, neurodiversity acceptance, and a handful of other topics. And they're very quick, short bullet points, just to get you up to speed with the group and how we run the group. Okay, in our group, it's a support format. So we center posters. The person who makes the post is asking for support. The commenters are giving support to the poster. Don't argue with other commenters in the thread. They are not asking for support. They're not asking to be educated. Focus on the original poster, the person who's asking for the support. One really helpful suggestion is if a commenter says something you don't agree with, rather than replying to that person, just in the main thread, say, I don't agree with the idea that, and whatever the idea is that you don't agree with, and then state why you don't agree with it. Like, I don't agree that rewards are helpful. And that way you're not really replying to the comment you don't agree with, you're replying to the original poster and giving them information because they're the ones asking for information. So that's center posters. Okay, 7, decorum or etiquette. So we ask you to treat members the way an unschooler and a connection parenting person would treat their children, with support. You might take a reflective stance. You might ask a question. Remember that some members are very new to unschooling and even connection parenting. Some have been unschoolers a long time, but are new to their child's diagnosis and don't understand yet. So try to center them and offer them support when they ask for it. Okay, 8. The first comment of posts may be an admin note. One admin note is a 24-hour rule. So we may ask that in the first 24 hours of a post that a certain population answer first. For example, let autistic adults answer the question for the first 24 hours. And this is to give a voice and a stronger voice to the people who are most like our children. And they give the best advice and the best lived experience. So we want to give them a way to do that. So notice the first comment of each post. It may be an admin note. We also put guideline reminders in, like one guideline reminder is that we don't talk about screen limits in the main section of the group. And that's a whole topic. We do support screen limits in one post and thread, and then we can tag you there if that's what you need. You can also private message me and I can help you with that. We support respectful limits that way. Okay, 9. Don't make judgmental statements like you are ableist, rude, ignorant, abusive, invalid, fat phobic. You are, try to stay away from that phrase. You are, something negative. There are ways to disagree with an idea without attacking a person. Okay. 10. Do not characterize children negatively or malign beloved activities. So that includes they're lazy, they don't care, or there's lots of ways. And if you do, we all sometimes do, and we're not perfect. So we may contact you and ask you to reword. We're not judging you. We're all stressed. We all have a lot to deal with. It's just to keep the group a safe place where we're not arguing with each other. We're not judging each other. We're trying to support each other. Maligning beloved activities is saying something's addictive, like screens are addictive, or they're doing too much of something, or something you don't respect, but they're interested in and they're doing. So unschoolers learn to appreciate children's activities as learning. Even watching TV, my son loved Futurama and learned so much from that show. So we try not to malign any activities. 11, don't say a parent is harming their child. If you believe that a parent is harming their child, please contact an admin. You can also report any comment to admin. It's the little 3 dots on the comment, and it should pull down a menu that says report to admin. So thank you for doing that. If you see anything that doesn't belong. Okay, decorum. So this is 12. Blunt factual statements are not censored. So a blunt factual statement may feel offensive to you, but it is not, we don't censor it. So ABA is torture. That's a blunt factual statement. And if you need to know why that's true, I can help you with that. Fat phobia is the cause of eating disorders. That is a blunt, factual statement. Many autistic people have a very blunt way of speaking and a very factual way of speaking, and it's not meant to be rude, and we don't call it out as rude. Saying you are fat phobic is rude. So stay away from the you are statements. Okay. 13, off topic. There are multiple subjects that are off topic in our group. And if you forget, some people forget which group they're in. Some people aren't aware, and we don't expect you to memorize all of these. But if we do contact you and say something's off topic, try to keep an open mind. We're not judging you. We're just trying to keep the group on topic. So examples, adult required education, like you're requiring your child to do something. So our group is 100% self-directed education focused. We're not judging you if you do adult-directed education, but we just ask you not to talk about it. Kind of like talking about baking recipes in a vegan group. We're not judging you. It's just not on topic. Another off-topic subject is eclectic homeschooling, which is also sometimes I unschool for science or social studies, but for math and reading, I require them to do work. Okay, that's eclectic homeschooling. That's a perfectly valid choice, and it's off topic. Screen limits are off topic in the main section of our group. We have one post and thread where it's on topic, and we will support you with respectful screen limits there. ABA is absolutely off topic. Any kind of prejudice against race, sexuality, gender, etc., is off topic. HSLDA is a homeschool legal defense association, and a lot of people don't know about that group, and we've made it off topic. And if you want to know why, message me. I will let you know why. Okay. We also ask that you don't post any calls to action, no requests for money, clicks, views, petitions, promotions, soliciting. We are going to do a once in a month promotions post where we invite members to post their products or services. So you can look out for that. Okay, 14, no self-promotion. Like, oh, I'm a coach, or I'm doing this seminar, or I have this YouTube account or this page or whatever. And if a poster asks for a coach or something and you promote yourself, we allow that as long as you are an active contributing member. If you're only in the group to promote yourself, then we don't allow it. No unsolicited private messages, direct messages to our group members. It's okay to offer to say, oh, you can private message me if you want in a thread, and then you two can talk privately. That's fine. But no unsolicited messages, please. Okay. 15, we are not a substitute for medical advice, and we can't vet the safety of any therapy or modalities, interventions, or diets. So the way we handle it is say what worked for your family and why, and provide links from good sources. And we're going to leave that also up to admin's discretion in terms of what we feel is safe and not safe. And it's hard to explain what, we have to just use our judgment for that. So just say what worked for your family. Like, I went to such and such a doctor and they told me this about my child because of these symptoms, and that'll work out better. That's your lived experience. 16, self-diagnosis of your neurotype is legitimate. Not everyone has access to a diagnosis, like for autism or ADHD or whatever. So if you think you're autistic and you don't have an official diagnosis, that's okay. You can say you're autistic or you're ADHD, or maybe you don't know. That's fine too. 17, no hate speech. And that rarely comes up. Hate speech can also come up with ableism or transgender hate speech. Ableism is when people who are abled say prejudiced things about people who are not abled or disabled. Okay, 18. We educate our community about ableism. And this is a up-and-coming intersectional social justice issue. So we're learning along with you too. So try to keep an open mind. A lot of it has to do with our terminology. Like many autistic people find high functioning and low functioning to be very condescending. And there's reasons behind why they ask us not to use that. We also educate people about adultism, which is prejudice against children, and coercive therapies. Our group uses identity first language for autism. That means I'm autistic. I'm not a person with autism. I don't have ASD. But we don't call people out. We will just tag you in a thread. So we just ask you to keep an open mind. And if we remind you a few times, that's okay. You're not in trouble. And then we ask you not to shoot the messenger. So we will provide all the receipts you need to learn about this. And we've been learning about it. So, and language changes too. So we just try to stay up with it. Okay, 19, triggers. We often ask people to add trigger warnings to their pending posts. And in threads, we ask that you not blame others for triggering you. And if you are triggered, the admins will support you. So we ask you to contact us and let us know what's going on. And we will try to support you with that. It happens to all of us. So if you need to vent, just message me and vent. I'm fine with that. Okay, 20. So respect those with the same lived experience as your child. So if someone has a lived experience, for example, if your child is autistic and there's a person who is autistic who has a lived experience like your child, then we ask that you not talk over them or talk over anyone in the thread who has the same lived experience. So for example, my child's overweight. Another person might chime in and say, well, I was overweight as a child, or I was overweight and I'm still overweight. So that is the person's lived experience. And we want to honor and respect that because that is where the majority of our shared wisdom comes from. And that's how we collect our wisdom in the group. 21, don't use anecdotal fallacies. This is a hard one to follow, and we might contact you privately if you do, and it's okay. Everybody makes mistakes. But an anecdotal fallacy is when you say that something worked for you, so it must be good, when there are 20 other comments that say it doesn't work. So, for example, if you go to a restaurant and you don't get food poisoning, but 20 other people got food poisoning from that restaurant, it's not a good restaurant, even though you had an okay experience there. So that's an anecdotal fallacy, to use one anecdote to make a sweeping judgment. So sometimes we do that and it's hard not to, but we'll let you know if that happens. 22. Please don't complain about the group in thread or the way the admins admin the group. You are welcome to read the guidelines and contact us at any time saying you don't agree with something or you don't agree with the way we run the group. We have listened to people over the years, listened to members, and modified the group based on their feedback for 10 years. And sometimes it took us longer than other times. But we welcome your feedback. But we don't find it productive to do it in the middle of the thread. This goes back to supporting the OP. The OP is asking for support. And if your comment isn't supporting the OP, then it's off topic. So thank you for that consideration. 23, posts. So we ask that you make really detailed posts. People sometimes are nervous about putting too much detail in. You don't have to put detail in if you want privacy. But the more detail you put in, the easier it is for people to match you on their experiences. And we don't mind reading long posts. We do ask you, please put in line breaks, because the people who have a hard time reading, it's easier to read when there's maybe 3 sentences per paragraph. That just makes it so much easier instead of one really, really long, unbroken paragraph. We ask that you not dirty delete posts. People put a lot of labor. They spend 20 minutes to write a comment, and it's their labor. And if you delete your post, you've just deleted all of their labor. If you are triggered by your post, by the comments in your post, please shut off the comments. That's an okay thing to do. And you can do that anytime on your post, turning off the comments. If you had too many comments, you're done reading, or you don't like the comments, turn them off and let it go. And then if you want to vent, private message me, tell me what you don't like, if you feel triggered. But please don't delete your post. We ask that you don't write an introduction post. So we have introductions every Tuesday in the welcome post in that thread, and then we respond to all of those introductions, and we'll help you with anything you need there. That's 24. 25, please use paragraph breaks. I already said that. Sometimes what happens is you put in a post and it gets lost. So if it's a really long post, I encourage you to write it in an editor first. So in case something happens, you still have a copy of it. It's kind of rare, but it's really heartbreaking when you've spent a long time writing a post and then it just disappears for unknown reason. If it does disappear, we may be able to get it back. So private message us, but that doesn't always work. Thanks, Facebook. Okay, 26. you must be in the group 4 days before posting. We put this in because a lot of the posts that we get from new members are just very impulsive and they don't read the guidelines, and then we have to contact them, and then it takes a very long time. So we're trying to cut down on some of the admin work by having new members pause for 4 days and see how it goes. But if you desperately need to post something right away, you can private message me again and we can work around that. Okay. So we do a lot of private messaging. We may contact you. This is 27. We may contact you to rewrite your post or read something else before posting. Like if you ask a really basic question, what is unschooling? Or if you ask a question that was just asked yesterday, we might ask you to read that post instead. There's lots of reasons why we don't approve posts and why we ask for rewrites. So 28. Commenters are held to a very high standard of decorum and support. Admins can help you with that if you need it. So if we contact you and you've commented and you've given advice that's off topic, we will contact you privately and we may delete your comment and contact you. It doesn't mean you're in trouble. It just means we're trying to keep the group on topic. It's very confusing for new unschoolers, people who don't know what unschooling is, to read off-topic comments. It's okay to stay in the group if you're not an unschooler. We just ask you to stay on topic so as not to confuse the beginners. That's really important to us. We put a lot of work and time into that. Okay, 29. So we do require you to know these basics. And if reading is hard, we will try our best to find audio resources for you to listen to. And I've even talked with people on the phone if you need that. We've done Zoom calls. So let us help you find a different approach, but it's also really difficult to understand unschooling, neurodiversity acceptance, and connection parenting if it's all new to you without taking a lot of time to do research. That's why we recommend you spend about 6 months deschooling if you're new to all of this. And 6 months may seem like a lot of time, but it's a lot of deep work and you just can't do it quickly. You just have to do a little bit at a time and see how it goes and let it sink in. And we, repeat this over and over again every week in the intro post, 6 months to deschool, 6 months to deschool. So you're not the only one. And we will support you. And if you have burning questions, private message us, make a post, read a document. Let us try to help you with that. Okay, 30. Admins are not trying to censor you or judge you. We are trying to keep the group safe and keep drama to a minimum. We are trying to protect members from unwanted feedback. Assume we are on your side and we respect you as a parent. It's okay if the group is not for you. You are welcome to stay as long as you stay on topic. And if you don't, we will gently and privately remind you. So this is really important. We do this every day. And you're not the only one. And our group is called Unschooling Every Family. And that does mean every type of family. but it doesn't mean every value system. So we have a very specific and narrow value system that we stick to. And it doesn't matter what kind of person you are, but we all match on those values. So, and maybe you don't match 100%. That's okay. But our group tries to stay within that range. So we're not judging you. We're just trying to keep the group on topic. There are many, many other groups, especially unschooling groups on Facebook. And if you need a different kind, one that's not so strict in terms of what's on topic, what's not, maybe it's okay to ask your kid to do some academics sometimes. You know, there's a group called Almost Unschoolers. Maybe that would fit you better. So I can help you find that, no problem, if that's what you're needing. We want you to have what you're needing. You're a parent. Parents need support. We believe that. And we also believe that you have an instinct to make choices that are the best for your family. So if it's not what we choose, then it's going to be something else. And we want you to find that. Okay. 31. We ask for edits on up to 50% of posts for many reasons, including protecting the OP from criticism. So if you write something in a post that we think will draw criticism, we will ask you to reword it, and that's for your protection. We want to protect members from triggers. We also want you to center your child in a positive way, even if you do mention some negatives, like we want you to add your child's interests and strengths. Sometimes we're stressed out and we forget to do that. So we're just reminding you to do that. Also, really important, add your child's sensory profile. Sensory profile is the most fundamental thing about any person. And it's really important to include that. And if you don't know what that is, I can help you with that. We have documents about that. Okay, so we also ask posters use preferred terminology, and we generally, like, we do not let posts through that don't have preferred terminology. So even if you don't have to be too worried about that, if you write the wrong terminology, we'll just contact you and ask you to reword it. It's okay. We're not judging you. We know everyone uses different words, but we don't want your comments to be about how you use the wrong terminology and focusing on that. We want it to focus on what you're needing. And that does help, believe it or not. We know from experience. We might ask you to clarify something in the post. We may say the topic's too repetitive and to read other posts. You may be asking for too many topics at once, and then it becomes very confusing. So we may ask you to do multiple posts with separate topics. Okay, 32. The admin team came to a consensus about photos of underage children. And we ask that you do not post any pictures of underage children, teens or children, faces or bodies, heads or bodies. Arms and legs, feet, hands are okay. We have a pinned featured post that talks about the reasoning behind that, and it has a lot to do with consent. And you may not agree with it. We may not all agree with that, but that's the consensus we came to. And it's more of a better safe than sorry type of policy. So, okay, 33. We use the everyone tag sparingly. I think we only used it once so far. People hate it. So we get that. But I do have instructions in the guidelines for turning it off. So that will turn it off for every group that you're in if you hate it. But if we do use it, please don't complain because we just don't complain, just turn it off for yourself and it's okay. 34. Do you have any questions that you want to ask privately? Feel free to email us at any time. 35. If your profile is a digital creator or a professional account, thank you, Facebook. There's a bug that I can't tag you. And sometimes I can't even message you. So that, I think the not being able to message you is something that you have at your setting, at your profile setting. And that's okay if you don't want messages. But in order to contact you about maybe a guideline slip up, you know, if I can't contact you, then the only thing I can do is just delete something that you've written or delete, you know, or decline your post. And then, you know, that's all I can do. So if that happens and you're a digital creator, feel free to message me and then we'll have a private message history. And then after that, I will be able to message you anytime. So that takes care of that. 36. If anyone in the group sends you unsolicited private messages, especially with links to join outside group, offers to coach you, requests to donate money, please report it to the admin group. This happens very rarely, but we do not tolerate that. That is not okay. 37. If you would like to show your appreciation for the group or have extra time, extra spoons, or extra funds, please consider volunteering or donating on our website. And there's links for filling out a volunteer form in the guidelines and a link to our donate page on our website to buy us a coffee, because we do spend about 40 hours a week. That's an estimate. Adminning the group every week. So I think I've explained the guidelines. If you need to know more about the reasoning behind the guidelines, there's a longer version. And each section explains why, and there's links to other files to read. So that's it for the guidelines. Welcome to the group. I'm sorry this took so long, but hopefully you can play it on double time. Cheers.